You've got some defensive issues to deal with, like Doyle, Sigmund, Gully are all out. How are you going to deal with these crises?
Yes, there's another one there as well. Louis Fenton, we found out, torn ankle ligaments, so he'll be 3 or 4 weeks. So particularly in the full-back role, we're light on, but we think we've got that covered. We'll bring Dylan Fox into the squad, Tamu Damaro and Troy Danaskos. So we think we've got cover. Pretty happy with what's happening up front, the quality of midfield. So all round, I think we've got a pretty good squad.
And you've also got several other players sitting on 4 yellow cards. It must be difficult to structure a side and play it with freedom, given the situation.
Well, there's no doubt that at this middle part of the season, you're hurt by suspensions and injuries. But that's why we have a squad of 22 players, and we've also got a couple of youth players that have been pretty impressive in ASB League. So we think we've got it covered, and that's how you get strong. I think you give players a run and you discover how good they are, and that builds your depth.
And you're playing Adelaide away on Boxing Day, and at the moment sitting second in the bottom of the table. So this must be a target must win, obviously.
No, every game is must win, every single game, and position on the table isn't always a true reflection of the quality of the team. There's no doubt that Adelaide are a good team and they've had some really good results recently, so we expect a really tough game away from home against both Adelaide and the Mariners. I don't think you can write any team off in this league. The bottom line is playing the way we play at training, and the quality of training has been very high, and I just didn't feel as though we kept possession in midfield really well against Sydney. So we've looked at those videos, we've talked about areas that we want to improve in, and we've looked at our positional play. So we're working on what we can achieve to become better in that front third.
You've spoke a couple of times about the January transfer window. I guess what's your thoughts now looking ahead to that?
Really, no players within the A-League move in the January window. It's very rare, and there's no transfer fees between clubs, so there's nothing for anyone to gain. So really the only opportunity is bringing in someone from Europe. We don't have any visa spots for an overseas player, and there are no returning players that I'm aware of that are looking for an A-League club. So we're not looking to bring anyone in the transfer window, and as I said from the outset, I'm pretty happy with the squad and the talent that we've got. I think we could be more consistent on the park, but then we're not doing too badly. I mean, Sydney is a good team. We've drawn with them twice. They still haven't beat us. We've played Victory, probably the best player for player team in the league. They've beaten us once. We've beaten them once. And Roar are up in the top, and the same again. We've beaten them once, and they've beaten us once. So we're in there, very close. 1 point away from Sydney, 2 points away from Victory. So we're pretty close. We just have to be more consistent in the second half of the season, and we need to win more games home and away.
So things like guest signings and stuff, Phoenix aren't in the position to be able to do that then?
Oh, I think we're in a position to do it. Financially, we haven't had a problem this year at all. We're a strong financial club. I keep telling the FFA that, but we're not looking to bring anyone in the short term.
And you're obviously playing on Boxing Day, day after Christmas. What are the boys allowed to do on Christmas?
They're allowed to enjoy Christmas pudding, and they'll have skinfold tests down the track. But it's a festive period. It's very important that they have family time. We're going late to Adelaide. Normally we go 2 days ahead because it's a difficult trip, not in distance but in flights. But we'd rather go on Christmas Day late rather than to go on New Year's Day. Christmas Eve. It gives them Christmas Eve with the families. They fly out on Christmas Day and they play on Boxing Day, and we'll fly straight from there to Gosford and prepare for a New Year's Eve game against the Mariners. And after that time, they'll get 4 days off to the 5th of January, which is time to catch up with friends and family.
So you've given them those strict instructions on what they can eat?
No, I feel that the boys are professional enough. They don't need to be warned and threatened all the time. They look after themselves. There's not one overweight player in the team. The professionalism is first class, and they can have a couple of beers. I will.
You finally scored a penalty on the weekend. Is it a relief to you?
I think that was a fluke, really. I thought the opposition goalkeeper did us a favour diving the wrong way, but no, it was never a relief. It's good to see, don't get me wrong, but I mean, if you saw the bit of practice that we had, we have so much practice in shooting for penalties. Glenn Moss would have to be one of the best penalty savers in the league, so really it was more about Glenn Moss pulling off an incredible save which got us the draw. Roy or whoever takes a penalty should be scoring every time. Hopefully that's the start of that.
Expecting Adelaide to take you down the flanks with your fullback being at split.
Yes, they're very good down the flanks. They've got good wingers and fullbacks that overlap. So obviously we've taken that into consideration in the setup that you've just seen. But please don't reveal what we're doing, or else I have to kill you.
I've got two more questions. How do you get more productivity out of your import Sarpong?
Yeah, I think there's a big focus on Jeffrey because he was supposed to be a replacement. I always said that he's going to be a high quality striker, and hopefully a person that would score goals as well. Jeffrey is contributing more as a midfielder and winger than an out-and-out goal scorer, and hopefully the next stage is he starts scoring goals. But I have to say I was really happy with his game last week, and he'll be starting this week and hopefully for the rest of the season if he continues to play like that, and I think he'll get better and better.
Cool. And just with strikers, do you see any more game time for Apia, Powell to either take the heat off Krishna?
You've read my mind because Kwabena Apia has come into the squad, and of course Blake Powell's there as well, and with Rowley in a more advanced position and Mikey McGlinchey, I'm expecting more goals from that lot, but Kwabena and Blake have been doing really well at training.
How far away has been second as well?
We will be taking 2 extra players to Gosford, and he'll be one of the persons considered for that. If he passes the fitness test, he'll be in that one. If not, I think he'll definitely be right for the next game after that, which I think is the 10th of January home game, is it? There's that many away games, I forget when we're playing at home.